Okay, let's call the meeting to order. It's 8:30 in the morning. Well, we have lots of guests this morning.
I think you get a stool.
I'd like to welcome all you guests this morning. Reuben, Herman, Curtis. What do we do with the commissioner? Did he escape?
We sent him home.
You sent him home. Good luck. Okay, first thing on the agenda would be you guys as words of commissioner. We might as well go ahead and get them right, Chewy.
Yeah, the commissioner said he'd be here about 9 o'clock.
Not that commissioner I'm talking about.
Carlos?
Oh, the chairman.
Chairman, I'm sorry.
Yep, he's right here.
Chairman, yeah, you guys, I know you all have a busy morning, so I'd like to introduce the new chairman of the Water Development Board, Carlos Rubenstein. He asked to come and visit with us this morning, and you had a few words to say, right?
Sure, be happy to. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and talk to you all about what we're doing to try to develop more water in Texas, but also what we continue to do, working very, very closely with you on the issues that are a concern to all of us. You know, it's always a pleasure to work with Al and with Chewy and with the board on advancing the interests of this area, particularly our concern on how the Rio Grande Compact is being handled. And I know that we get a chance to talk to you often about that. We remain very, very focused on that. I also wanted to take some time and tell you how excited we are about the future of water development in Texas, particularly given the election returns from last week on Proposition 6. We're hard at work at the Water Development Board, putting into place the processes that we're going to follow to be able to properly prioritize the water management strategies that will help us meet across the state our water demands on a 50-year horizon. And so we're going around the state and talking to folks about how important it is to remain very actively involved in the regional water planning process, how important it is that we're able to identify those viable and feasible projects that we can move forward. What I'm most interested about excited about coming to El Paso is the passage of the bill that created Prop 6, House Bill 4, also calls for very specific set-asides and focuses the Water Development Board in things that we need to concentrate on going forward. And you all represent that mix that we're looking for, in the sense that the legislature wanted us to make sure that we took care of rural Texas. And they wrote into the statute that we need to undertake the utilization of not less than 10% of the fund, and it's a $2 billion transfer, to advance rural and agricultural interests in Texas and protect those water needs over a 50-year horizon. And then it went a step further and said that we also need to undertake the utilization of not less than 20% of the fund for conservation measures. And so on both aspects, obviously the area would be able to complete very well. The other thing that we're also going to be concentrating is where can we go in Texas and affect the interests of rural Texas and also serve a larger population density as well. Well, you have that mix here as well. So we're excited about the opportunities that we have across the state. We're very excited about the opportunities that you have here within the district. Chewy has been very, very kind, and also not only setting up a few minutes to talk to you all about this morning about this issue, but also to work very closely with your regional planning group, Region E, on the critical nature on making sure that the projects that will advance water stability into the future, that they're well identified, well prioritized in the regional plan so that they can come to the board for consideration for funding in the future. And I know that when Commissioner Gordon gets here, we'll talk a little bit more about where we are with our lawsuit with New Mexico, and we're heavily involved in that and totally committed, so you can continue to count on us in that regard. I'll be happy to address any questions you may have.
I understand 10% of $2 billion?
It's
It's 200 million?
It can actually,
And then another 20% on top of
it
it?
can actually be better. Yes, but it's more than that. So we got $2 billion cash. That's what the voters approved. So $2 billion gets moved as soon as the votes are canvassed, so which will be what, early December. $2 billion cash moves from the rainy day fund to a special fund that belongs to, or we're responsible for administering the Water Development Board. The $2 billion gets moved over to the comptroller. It gets out of the state budget. It doesn't have to be reappropriated to us, right? It gets invested. We're charged with investing it. Then we utilize the leveraging of the $2 billion against a $6 billion bonding authority that we already have. That $6 billion bonding authority is evergreen. That means we can relend that money as often as we need to, as long as we never exceed the $6 billion cap at any one time. When you combine the enhanced financing that the cash in hand of the $2 billion gives us, coupled with $6 billion bonding authority and the other projects that we have, the goal is to make the $2 billion investment over 50 years stretch to over $27 billion worth of projects. Yeah, it's now you can see it's really an exciting time. So, you know, we're looking at things that we're going to have to do in the next 5 years. We're looking at things that have to be in place over the next 50 years, right? So that's how it's going to be. The next obvious question will be, how are we all going to benefit from that? You can benefit in one of three ways. You know, the state has a AAA credit rating. So when we go out and borrow money, we borrow it at the best rate. Several other entities have AAA ratings. So that in itself, to some may be, okay, well, there's no benefit there because I can get it about the same price in the market. But what if we told you that because of the $2 billion investment, and if you come to the board, we can then loan you the money at up to half of the interest rate that we borrowed it against. So that makes it pretty enticing. What if we told you that we can utilize those investments that we're going to have on the SWIFT, the $2 billion, to defer payments while you're building a project that would be depending on revenue to pay off the loan? SWIFT allows us to do that. Or what if we could tell you that because of that investment, we can extend the note over 30 years, which we couldn't do before. So what we're thinking is all of those incentives will really, for the first time, allow us to move state water plan projects forward. The other thing that we're also working on, and Chu and I, we talk often on issues that are important to this area. He comes to Austin often. I think we visited Austin just less than a month ago. Right. To talk about other options that we have. And you know, we have funds that are dedicated for agricultural conservation, and funds that are also dedicated for economically distressed areas. And so we talked about those, and also we talked about those yesterday. We also talked about the utilization of a fund that we're working with EPA, which actually that one includes loan forgiveness also, the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund project. So we want to make sure that when we're addressing you know, the folks that we are responsible for making sure that we help them move along their projects, that we look at everything that we offer, not just the SWIFT, but everything that we offer, particularly if there's a fund that has loan forgiveness, which is a grant, which is like the Drinking Water SRF, we want an EDAP, Economically Distressed Areas Program, that people take advantage of those. And as you can imagine, we're traveling all over the state because everybody wants to hear about it now, which is a good thing. It's a really good thing, but it's a pleasure to always be here and continue to work with you. But I hope that answers your question.
Well, I must have missed her. I thought 10% was automatically ours.
Well, there's a lot of hours. There's a lot of folks that don't like y'all, you know.
No, and 10% of 27 billion.
Over 50 years.
Yeah.
We get concrete every canal.
Favorite.
Okay.
Make sure your project's under the state water plan.
The great thing about the chairman, I will say, talk a little bit about his background, is that he's been a general manager for an irrigation district. He's been a city manager along a border. He knows the border like no one else. He was the water master from Del Rio all the way south to South Texas. And so he's very knowledgeable as far as water issues. When he was at TCEQ, you could just, as a commissioner, he just changed the whole TCEQ operation. And you all remember the tire issues that we were having here. He helped me with that issue, get some funding, and so, you know, he's a worker. And we were real excited, Al and I were real excited when we found out he was going to be named the chairman of the Texas Water Development Board. And he hit the ground running. He's holding, instead of the Texas Water Development Board used to meet 6 times a year, he's holding 2 meetings a month.
Yep.
Plus a work session.
Mhm.
And so he's really gonna hit it hard, and I wanted to be one of the first communities to have him come and address. And we set up some meetings with John Ballou yesterday. And they also had a representative there from Lower Valley Water District. And you know, it's all about our community. And the more projects we can work together, the better off our community will be.
I agree. I think the other thing that we owe you, and I'm happy to report, and I appreciate the kind words, Chewy, is the other thing that we also have completed just last Friday is a restructuring of the agency. You know, when the legislature directs an agency to be reorganized, they're sending you a message, right? And so they went from a six-member part-time board to a 3-member full-time board. They very clearly told us, we don't want you to be reactive. We want you to be proactive. We want you to go across Texas and make projects happen and facilitate that. One of the things that we looked at is if Al calls the Water Development Board on a project, and the next time he calls in, he may be talking to another person. And that means you have to re-educate a person, and that slows down processes. So we're stopping that. We're gonna have a team that is dedicated for each district area of Texas. So when you call with a project, you're talking to the same team, and through time, they obviously get to know you, they get to know your needs, the uniqueness of the area, because you know, one of the things that we hear quite often is, well, let's do this and we'll fix our problems. You all know there is no one fix for water. Water is going to be fixed through multiple ways. But the better that we know each area, the more that we have the dedicated teams for that, I think the better we'll all be served. So, again, it's a pleasure to be here. And Chewy, you are the first group that I talked to after the election. So, yeah, you hit it right, man. There you go. I'll be happy to address any other questions you might have.
Well, I don't have a question, but I have another accolade, I guess. This gentleman right here, and our commissioner for the Rio Grande Compact, who will be here a little later, were very instrumental in getting us to the point of what we've been trying to do for 25 years, and that's to bring an original action before the Supreme Court for the inequities that we've suffered from New Mexico over years. He was on the TCEQ commission, and he got the funds appropriated in his budget because the AG's office would not do it. So because of him and because of the commissioner, we finally got done, or at least to the front steps of the Supreme Court at this point in time, an issue that should have been done 25 years ago. And for that, I greatly thank you, Carlos.
Well, I appreciate that.
It would not have happened without you and Pat, without it.
Well, and Herman and Curtis as well.
Well, of course, those guys are, but they're, you know, in the trenches. I mean, nobody can say too many good things about Herman Sedemeyer. Herman, he's a state, if y'all don't know, he says, used to be with the water development with TCEQ, years and years, water development. What was the first one? What was it?
Water Rights Commission.
Water Rights Commission. He's been down there. He's been there longer than the state capitol building. But he wasn't.
Right.
He's always represented the Rio Grande Compact Commission as the state engineer. And what an asset you've been to our community and to our water area, not just our community. But we really thank Herman. Curtis tries to keep Carlos straight, but I know he has a hard time.
It's a full-time job.
He's the chief of staff for Carlos, so we appreciate you. It's an honor to have you all here, and Carlos, we thank you very much. Another little short.
The pleasure's ours.
One little short deal too. I remember about 2 years ago that we were having problems with our neighbors to the south, wanting to open the dam a little early. I mean, there was a whirlwind and smoke coming out of this whirlwind in the Capitol building. We was down. This was our greatest advocate right here. Now I'm telling you, I thought he and Racina were going to go to blows. Therefore, it all got done. But those kind of efforts. I mean, if he's on your team, even though he's a Red Sox fan,
I'm a proud Red Sox fan.
they go back and forth with the baseball team. We really appreciate your efforts, Carlos, and we're looking forward to a great working relationship from here forward. You too, guys. We really appreciate it.
Oh, count on that. Count on that. And I want you to know. I also want y'all to know one thing. It is not lost on folks how critical the Rio Grande Compact dispute is. If I get asked to go around the state to talk, particularly when I have to go to presentations at CLE conferences, and I think I got 3 scheduled already for this year. The one topic that, more than any other topic that comes up, is can you please explain the dispute on the compact? And when we walked through the whole thing, and what we told them what the value of the 2008 operating agreement was, and how that got thrown away, not by our liking or our actions, and how then it's critical that we then seek appropriately a return to the 1938 conditions, people get it. People absolutely get it.
And we appreciate that because very few people have ever gotten it, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be here.
Any other questions, guys? You got a chance to shoot at him, take this out.
Don't shoot too hard. We're on your side.
Y'all should ask
Thank you.
questions, because we may start asking over here.
Yeah, well.
All righty, thank you
Thank
much.
you, Chairman.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet.
Herman, you want to say anything? You got anything to tell us about what's going on in the compact?
Oh, probably wait till Pat gets here.
Commissioner Gordon will be here.
Okay.
If Pat doesn't make it, I'll say something.
Okay, all right, that's good. All right, well, is there anything, did they have some other meetings or anything?
They've got some other meetings scheduled, but they'll start at about 9:30.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, well, y'all can be bored to death listening, that's our regular stuff. Okay, so we have y'all were, got the minutes for the meeting of October 9th. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Haven't heard none, I'd entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
So moved.
Endor makes the motion, do I hear a second? Larry seconds. Is any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, Mary, you're on.
On the investment report, we do have a correction to be made on our CD certificate of deposit that matured in October, CD 36000751. The new interest rate is 0.35%. The 0.60 was the prior.
Interest rates dropping,
No, that was one of those old ones that just rolled off,
you know,
right?
was it?
We did go out to bid as well.
But
This
what
is
I'm
at
saying, that was
18
one of
months
the
ago.
older ones, yeah.
Yes.
It was 18 months ago.
Look at that one at the top, 1.4. That was one that did low and was like a 3 or 4 year deal or 5, yeah. Yeah.
It was July of this year. Right?
No, well, it's,
But it was a 3-year.
yeah, it's not, no, it was long time. Whatever.
Well, okay.
Go ahead, Mary, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Any questions on the investment report?
Are there any?
How about on the cash flow report?
Art?
Okay, on page 1, and you've explained it to me again, so I'm gonna ask you again, Don. If you go down to the 4216, use damage license fee, huge wallop there and on the good side.
That was the final payment from license 1300 City of El Paso. It was a
Okay,
pre-installment.
okay, good. Okay, that explained that one. And I think that was all I had on that one.
Any other comments or questions of Mary on the cash flow budget? Performance? Okay, balance sheet.
Mary, I like the balance sheet, because the wandering thing showed up both places. So I liked it, that everything balanced. I didn't see anything.
$500 check report.
Page 104, number 2. Reimbursement of dewatering. Huge check. Is that the recent one?
That's the reason when we had to reimburse to Little Valley Water District.
That's the phase 2 of town.
Okay, that's part of that phase 2.
Yes.
Okay. Further on down, 39707, Great American Insurance, Inland Marine Renewal. Is that,
That's our equipment.
that's all of our equipment?
Yes.
Okay. Never mind, that's good. I don't have any more.
Anybody else have any questions or any of the checks? Okay. You don't need to approve the investment report, right? Or do you?
Just ordered in.
No, we've already done, we did that last time.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mary. Let the record show no action was taken on either item, A or B. Okay, Rose.
Morning.
All right, Rose.
The first item is review tax report and adjustments. I have given each one of you, it's a 2-page. These are adjustments that are really required for us to certify the 2013 tax roll. These are accounts that are flagged as bankruptcies. There are 49 property owners and consist of 56 lands. Computer glitch, they were not assessed in 2013 taxes. They were caught after we had assessed. So we have made the adjustment. Total here would be $4,746.15. Dr. Blair has been very instrumental, so we could fix a problem, but we have to do it manually. We're running out of time. Dr. Blair? He wants
No,
to-
it's not, it's small, the total assessment's over 11,000 parcels, so out
I
of
would just,
11.
I mean, this is the first year it's ever happened. We've been
No,
running.
this happened, this has been going on forever.
Okay.
We have?
Yeah.
First one we're
We just thought that formally that it needed to be in the certification.
That's really, we didn't know.
Alright, so we just, rather, the certification is made of 2 documents now, one which comes, is computer generated, that has everybody that was assessed correctly, and then these, for these bankrupt properties, which we cannot, they have to be treated specially, because they're in bankruptcy.
They have to be assessed,
They're
And
assessed,
on
but
the
we don't
tax roll.
collect on them.
but no invoice or no tax
You
statement.
can't, right.
So what the difficulty was, I guess about 2 years ago, it was the opposite probably before, they were being assessed and invoices were being set out. And then what the previous programmer was to disable the invoicing, but keep the assessment, and he disabled both. And so this year we had the reverse problem. Next year we won't have any problem. So,
That explains it.
yeah,
Rose, and these are not on this sheet of paper?
right.
Okay,
No,
these
no,
are
they
additional.
are, excuse me, yes, they are. on
They
the
are
sheet.
interspersed in here?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay.
What a nightmare keeping all the records. You do a great job.
Well, I don't do it alone.
No, I was
I have
gonna
a
say
great
you and
staff,
Tony. Wow,
and,
that's so many and so many different.
It's her fault.
It's Sonia's fault?
Yeah, it's Sonia's fault.
That's Sonia's fault.
It does take a lot of accounting, ownership,
So many facets to
land,
it.
water.
Okay, well, excuse me, Rose, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So if I can get the adjustments approved, we can continue.
Do we need to approve the adjustments?
Yes,
These
sir.
right, that's what you're talking about, this
Yes, sir.
right here. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the adjustments to the tax rolls that Rose has presented here this morning?
This is how much.
So moved.
Ron makes a motion, do I hear a second? Second. Kendar makes a second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, you're adjusted.
The next item is the 2013 El Paso Public Service Board leases and assignments. We have been working very closely with the El Paso Water Utilities / Public Service Board in obtaining water rights. We started this in March and April, where we met with the public. At first, it was property owners with a delinquency to let them know that the city of El Paso, through its Public Service Board, had a program soliciting water rights. And they were compensating that $2,500 per acre, a prorated share, plus they would also pay the delinquency. So, in results of the program, we have picked up 200 leases, and there's $100 per lease, so we've collected $20,000 in processing fees. Now, in the delinquency, and this is payment from the Public Service Board, $8,955.85. And there is a lot of detail when we receive the leases. We make sure that those properties are not irrigable. Per se, there is no irrigation ditch, maybe it has been covered, maybe it's been permanently sealed before we approve the leases. And if necessary, we do field check them, though Public Service Board does provide pictures for us.
Rose, let me make a technical correction. These leases don't transfer any water rights. What it does is pursuant to contracts approved by the Secretary of the Interior of the United States and by the City of El Paso, by the district, the right to receive water is simply leased to the city on small tracts, 2 acres and less, in accordance with the contracts that are in existence. So it's a lease of the right to get water.
Yes, sir. You're correct.
I have 9 more acres they can pick up right here. Right.
That's true. Our next item, we got the comparison of tax assessment for tax year 2011 and 2012. Well, we ended up the year collecting 98.1086 compared to the same time last 2011, 98.6490%. And this is just reflecting the current year taxes, not the delinquencies.
Very good under the situation that we're in, to be within 0.5% of what we did last year, and that's based on money, right? So that's not,
Yes, sir. Our next item we have is, it's a report on tax suits. But the one report that I just showed is with the current year, these are the delinquent accounts, long-term, I would say. And we're working closely with the law firm of Golden Blair, Spencer, Delgado, Acosta, and they're a great team. They did visit us a couple months ago, and they continue following up. We sometimes pursue when the city has filed lawsuit, we intervene. In our cases, we ourselves file the suit if necessary. And from last month to this month, we've had 4 accounts paid in full. Any questions on those?
any questions, Rose?
Now we have certifying the tax roll, 2013 tax roll. The tax roll is here, ready for inspection. And you wish, box 1 and 2. They're ready for inspection. Okay, you do have a copy of the tax assessment. I'll read that off. The county service charge, $378,168. Exempt water, allotment, $22,930.20. Exempt water, non-allotment, $5,779.35. And we have tax assessment, $1,549,564.50. Water assessment allotment, $626,631. Water assessment, non-allotment, $545,871.80 for a total assessment and charges $3,128,944.85. Sirs, this is the 2013 tax assessment and charges. What I'm asking for you is to approve the assessment.
Any questions of the assessment charges?
Well, Johnny, again, for clarification, these are charges and taxes that will be due and payable come January 1st and delinquent if not paid by January 31st of 2014.
Right. We can put that in the resolution, right?
Yes.
You may want to make that motion to certify the tax rolls.
I do.
Okay, and Norm makes the motion.
I'll second.
Larry seconds. Is there any further discussion?
I'll just need a signature for all board members.
Well, we need to vote first. Let me get, pass the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's going out of here. I don't want her. Do I hear any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now everybody needs to sign it.
And one more thing before we sign, I'm really excited and proud to announce that we are taking online payments now, starting today, effective today.
That's good.
Thank you.
You need about sign 2 copies?
Yes, sir.
Or do you have the other copies? You have the,
This
you
is
have
the
the real
original,
deal,
yes, sir.
okay. All right. Let's do that, we'll get it all done and official. So you can send out the tax bill.
Yes. And maybe she'll-
No, good. You can give me mine.
I know.
Rose, I got one quick question.
Yes, sir.
You go back on the account receivable summary, real quick. Just remind me, because I ask this about every other meeting, and sooner or later it will sink in. You go back 25 years, and we got a bunch of zeros.
Yes, sir.
Do we just, we write those off at that point?
We had, and then we were corrected by Mr. Spear that water has no limitation.
Okay.
If it's at the law, it has a limit of 20 years. And we were assuming that we were the
Right.
same, we had the same
So we're not
application.
gonna see zeros anymore? Even if it's 50 years from
If
now?
it's 50 years, you're
We'll
gonna
still have
see
that
it on here.
$41 in 1988?
That one for 1988, I think there's already a suit on that one,
Okay.
so we're
So
pursuing that.
prior to 88, okay, so now there will be no, they'll last forever,
It'll
right?
last forever from here on.
We'll be seeing those 50 years from now.
Yeah, 50 years from now, you're gonna see 1988, $41.27.
Right there.
Plus some,
Yeah, that's a lot of interest.
plus interest.
Yeah, the $41 would be pretty small compared to the interest
So
itself.
the interest is not there.
Thank you very much.
Rose, thank you.
Thank
for
you.
and Sonia's efforts and good job you do. We appreciate it. Yeah, have fun. Go get the bill sent out so we can.
Yeah, with a few envelopes and stuff, though.
Yeah.
Hey, Al, if you'll look at that in 88, there was a $6 accounting service charge, it looks like it was not paid.
So it caused that whole.
Yes,
Maybe service charge that far back?
$6, everything.
Our Rio Grande Compact Commissioner just walked into the room, Pat Gordon. We welcome you, Pat, and thanks for coming to our board meeting.
Thank you.
We'll get you on the agenda, and we'll get you up in just a second. You want to finish up, or you want to go to yours, or get your report out of the way? And then we'll do that.
We've already handled item A, the chairman's visit with us. And item B, I'll be traveling this afternoon to San Antonio for the NWRA conference. And that's the one we attended last year in San Diego, that you and I went and talked to the commissioner from the Bureau of Reclamation. But tomorrow morning I'll be meeting with the acting commissioner for the Bureau of Reclamation. As you all will know, Commissioner Connor is awaiting confirmation to be the Undersecretary of the Interior. And so right now, Deputy Commissioner of Operations, Commissioner Pendley, is the acting commissioner for the Bureau of Reclamation. So I'll be meeting with him tomorrow, which gives me a chance to brief him on our project and talk to him about the possibility of federal funding for different projects. And then I also, in talking to Herman and Chairman Rubenstein and our Commissioner Pat Gordon, it gives me a chance to maybe ask him about if he can prod the solicitor to maybe send the engagement letter that they were going to send.
The Supreme Court invited to be
Right.
filed.
Right, joining in on the Supreme Court. So anyway, I'll be meeting with him tomorrow morning at 9:30. Johnny and I always meet with a commissioner. Johnny's going to be out of town, so I'll be there visiting with him by myself. So I'll answer any questions if you all have any questions.
Well, Commissioner Gordon, I'd like for you to make a few remarks about where we are in the project. Herman said he didn't know that you knew, so he wanted you to tell us where we are in the project for this year and where we're going, so we'd appreciate that. And then after that, we're gonna go. Well, I gave him the opportunity.
You did, you absolutely did.
I gave him the opportunity, he wouldn't do it.
Thank you, Herman, I appreciate that. I won't get into a lot of the detail of the litigation, I think we'll do that in executive
Right,
session.
we're going, right after this, after you finish, we'll go into
Exactly.
closed session.
However, we did, as you know, we petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court in January to hear the case on basically saying that New Mexico has breached the Rio Grande Compact. Since that time, we've had a series of meetings with the Department of Interior, the Bureau of Reclamation, Department of Justice, all the parties to present our side of the story in our case as to why the Supreme Court should take the case. We've yet to hear back. I recently got an email correspondence from Mike Hammond with Bureau of Reclamation wanting to meet with us and actually meet with me and probably the district as to how to operate the project going forward this year. I'm preparing, and also in that letter he indicated some issues about attempting to settle the litigation. Honestly, I don't feel like that we can have any kind of discussion regarding settlement of litigation when the state of New Mexico has sued this district, EPCWID, and the government and federal district court in New Mexico. They've taken very aggressive positions in their state water adjudication. I think given those two legal matters pending, I don't know how we can possibly have any kind of negotiations or even discussions of negotiations with the Bureau of Reclamation while those are pending. While we want to cooperate, and what I'm going to basically tell the Bureau is that we expect that they should operate the operating agreement this year as it's drafted, that it was a negotiated settlement by Texas, where Texas gave up a lot of rights that we think we're entitled to, and that we expect that the Bureau protects the project. And when I say protect the projects, we said several letters. I know Judy Reyes has sent letters complaining about illegal diversions of water, including surface water, return flows, subsurface, and we are going to press the Bureau to enforce and protect the project, which we're concerned about. With the low water, there's just more groundwater being taken, which impacts the project, as you well know. So what we hope is on the litigation, so I don't think we can have any kind of settlement negotiation while litigation is pending. We are going to cooperate with the Bureau and ask that they operate the project the way it's supposed to be operated. We, again, appreciate all the help districts done in the litigation. We hopefully will hear something from the U.S. Supreme Court very soon. It's a tedious process to get before the Supreme Court will either accept it or deny it. And I feel like there's a lot of politics involved, and there's a lot of just a lot of that kind of stuff going on. So anyway, I'm optimistic that they'll hear where the case was accepted, get a special master appointed, and going down the road to try to get the project back up where it should be.
Pat, could I supplement
Yes,
your comments about the operating agreement? There's no reason for reclamation not to comply with the operating agreement, because notwithstanding that there was a case filed in federal court in Albuquerque, the judge there is Judge Browning. He has not issued any sort of an injunction prohibiting compliance by the Bureau with the operating agreement. And in fact, he's entered a stay of anything further in his court until the Supreme Court decides whether to accept the suit by Texas. So there's no reason for the Bureau not to comply with.
It's kind of amazing they even asked that question, and the other thought that I've had too, that they are even considering any kind of way to settle the case. Why are they trying to settle the case? We're all on the same team. I mean, the request for settlement should come from the other side. I mean, of course, that's typical Bureau's ways of doing things, but I just...
Yeah, to be clear, they didn't say, Herman got the email, but in the email they did not say that they were not going to operate and follow the terms of the operating agreement. It was more discuss how to implement it this year. I assume, actually I don't know what they actually wanted to do. As to why they're trying to broker a settlement, I think they're just trying to get everyone to get along. The problem is that this now involves the states, and that's not something that they really have the authority to get in the middle of at this point. And when the state of New Mexico has filed all these legal actions, I hardly doubt that their attorneys are going to let the state of New Mexico have any kind of dialogue on settlement. I don't know how that process would even happen.
Probably reserve most of this for the executive session.
No, I think it needs to be discussed here to an extent. I think that's doing exactly right.
Well, I'm not saying that, Jim. I'm saying this is, we're on, this is on the internet right now. And we do legal things, and Pat knows.
Well, I don't think anything's been said that we wouldn't say it to them anyway, or to anybody else.
No, we haven't discussed any of the merits. This is more of the facts, but I think if we want to discuss.
No, we're going to close it. What I wanted to know, and I was asking Herman about where we are in the project this year as far as storage, what we're looking forward to, and those sort of things. So I didn't mean to interrupt the commission.
Oh no, that's.
You just had to give me a...
Well, I was trying.
Johnny, you might want to know this is really part of Al's report topic on the Rio Grande Compact accounting, which is item 7B on the agenda.
You're going to have to know that you just did.
That's why I did.
So I mean, I can sit down.
Pardon me?
You're at my office.
Yeah. Well, we want to hear a different story. We hear Al's all the time.
I get it from Herman, so.
We want to hear the real deal.
Real deal. Well, as everybody knows, we've got a very, very, very low water supply in Elfin Butte Reservoir. We've got, I don't know, 100, 150,000 feet up there at the moment. Whatever is in Elephant Butte right now, there is some San Juan channel water in Elephant Butte, and there's some credit water in Elephant Butte. How much credit water is going to be left at the end of this year is probably going to be extremely small, because I think at this point, New Mexico may have used all of that credit. We're just kind of projecting numbers to what might happen between now and the end of the year. At one point during the year, we were projecting that New Mexico was going into debt. And I think since we had some rainfall, particularly monsoons below the ODE gauge, they've been able to reduce the amount of debt that they were going to go into. Now, of course, we're still arguing about how much credit water they have. We haven't agreed on the county for at least 2 or 3 years now, and because of New Mexico's position on the evaporation of credit water. But I think realistically, they probably started this year with about 26,000 acre feet of credit water in Elephant Butte. Colorado had a little bit, pretty minimal. And so that's likely to go down probably close to zero by the time we end the year. The San Juan Chama water, we've got 12,000 acre feet of water sitting up there in El Vado that was stored for the prior and paramount water rights that has to be moved down to Texas. Once again, we've been approached by our friends of Reclamation. Can we hold this water up there and protect the minnow with this water and release it next May? Our response, no, we want our water. So I think what they're really going to do is they're going to keep that water up there in El Vado till the end of the year, and then do an exchange of that water with the San Juan Chama water that's already in Elephant Butte. So we'll get our water
In the dam.
and they can have their San Juan Chama water in El Vado, and they can release it back to the dam anytime they want to protect their minnow up there. So that'll add a little bit more water to the reservoir. So, I think, we're probably in as good a shape as we were last year this time, maybe a little bit better shape. And hopefully the snowpack will come around and we'll get some snow up there and get some more runoff this year. But, kind of project right now, it's kind of a guess, but, you guys know what you got in the reservoir. All the water in Caballo is our water. None of that belongs, none of that water counts toward New Mexico's delivery under the compact, because New Mexico's delivery is change of storage in Elephant Butte, plus releases out of Elephant Butte. So those inflows that came into Caballo, that was free water for us. So that was a good thing with that.
And Herman, I'm sure you always remind them that they really aren't entitled to the apparent credit for deliveries into the reservoir if they're just stealing it back once it's released.
Well, I would if they would speak to me. Okay. A couple of things happened, during all of these storms. You guys are probably aware of the river plug that happened, I guess it was below, was it below or above Coach D?
Above the outlets of Coach D.
Above the outlets.
The outlets got plugged.
Of Coach D, basically, we had a big storm, all this sediment came in and plugged up the river. Didn't really affect us now because nobody was releasing any water, so Reclamation's in there trying to clean that out. What did happen though is there was a big sediment plug that came into the Rio Grande below Coach D Reservoir. And they had to, basically they stored 10, 15, 20,000 acre feet of water up there in Cochiti because they couldn't get it out of the reservoir because of the sediment plug. So I have to give Reclamation some kudos on this. They jumped on this right away and did what it took to get the plug, not necessarily removed, but they went in and they moved it around such that they could start releasing water, and then as the water started coming down, they released more and more to clean out that plug and get that water down to us. So, I mean, y'all remember the fires they had up there a few years ago? Y'all that came to the compact meeting have seen some of those videos. I think the fires and all the debris caused by those fires have had a big impact, because when they have these storm events up there, a 2-inch rainfall now produces what used to take a 4, 5, 6-inch rainfall to produce. And and then it brings all that logs and debris and all of that stuff. It's a really major issue for those folks when that happens.
Well, we thank you, gentlemen. Commissioner, do you have anything else to say? If not, thanks a million for you guys being here and our meeting this morning and sharing that with us. We're going to go into closed session right now, Sharon, and we're going to talk about a few legal matters and with y'all's assistance. We're inviting all of y'all to go into the closed session with us is attorneys. So, or staff or the attorneys. So let's go into closed session.
Stay in this room.